I say it's an honor to be here with you guys, of course.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And who is this handsome young fella you got next to
This
you?
guy right here is Cristobal, and
Okay.
he's one of our students down here in Mexico.
De
And
México, ¿tú hablas español, papi? ¿Tú hablas español?
Sí,
¿Tú hablas
so
inglés
he
también o no? Solo español.
poquito.
Poquito. Okay, okay. What's your name?
Cristobal. Cristobal.
Cristobal? What grade are you in?
¿Ah?
Check it
What
out.
tu colegio? Tres?
Six.
Okay. Six? Okay. But go ahead, professor. Go ahead. Talk to us.
So one of the reasons why I'm here in Mexico, it originally was here because I wanted to help veterans get on their feet after they got out of the military and just stay overseas.
Okay.
So in this case, I ended up working with kids, 7 to 12 years old, just like him, that are learning jiu-jitsu, that are learning Muay Thai, and learning discipline, how to march and things like that, because I have a junior fire academy down here.
Okay.
Kids like this come from like same other homes, just like in the States, and they end up idolizing the cartels and getting in trouble because they don't have any structure. And just like what's happening in the black community, exactly what's happening in the Americanized Mexican community, because they look to the Americans for an example. And if it's a bad example or a good example, they see it as, if you're a criminal, if you're degenerate or anything like that, it's actually considered a positive trait. And guys like us that are nerds, that don't get into trouble, that aren't in any kind of trouble or problems, we're the corny ones. And it's exactly the same, parallel. So I wanted to bring Cristobal on to point out to him the same problems that, like I said, that we were having down here with a lot of the parents, because alienation is a thing. And if you guys know what alienation is that when the mothers break up with the fathers here, they got the kid already. There's no child support. There's none of that stuff, most of the time. But they abandon the father. And then when 1 year, more than 50% of the fathers no longer have touch with their kids.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Alienation of fathers, child abuse.
No. I want to add something on there because, of course, we study this all the time. A lot of times when boys don't have a very dominant male role model in their household, a man they can respect, they begin to look outwards for masculine figures. They begin to look for men outside the house. And because they don't know what masculinity is, they think the tough guy with the jewelry and the nice cars, they look up to them. So then they want to emulate them. They talk like them. They walk like them. They want to dress like them. And so it's easy when your son doesn't have a strong, dominant, masculine figure in the household. Now, of course, you got surrogates. Maybe you got a stepdad. Maybe you got some uncles. But there's nothing like having that father figure in the house. That father. It's nothing like that. I actually read a book a couple of years ago, which talks about the issues that are going on in Mexico. You got a lot of Mexican feminist women down there who are looking to marry American men just so they can get that English surname so they can fit in. It's crazy. And the same thing that I read about in those books is what's going on there. The children suffer. My thing to you guys, man, it's really just Western culture. And the more money you have, and people think Mexico is just a bunch of poor people, but it's not like that. If you go to Mexico City, you got some of the wealthiest people in the world right there in Mexico City. You go down there like, oh my God, it's beautiful here. And so they got money, they have education. Mexico City is one of the biggest cities in the Western Hemisphere. It's they got grade A everything, restaurants. It's a first world city. And so you're going to have the same issues that we have up here with feminism, because feminism is a first world problem. You see what I mean? Women don't actually need the man anymore, so they can get rid of the man and keep the child and keep control. I don't know what to say, man. I salute you on your work. What else would you like to add?
No, that's all. I just want to point out one more thing. This is important, you guys, especially the ones that are calling us passport bros, sex tourists.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a veteran. I don't know what color veterans are. What color are veterans? I have no idea. Okay. But passport bros across the board have been down here since 92, so let's not play. They come in waves every few years. Doesn't mean that they're sex tourists. There are mongers. Those are called mongers. They're not us. And another thing is that the idea that somehow white expats are not sex tourists, or we're permanent residents. That means passport bros, and doesn't mean that the white guys are expats and the passport bros are sex tourists, which are black men. That's ridiculous. And you guys need to put a nail in that shit, because I keep these people be sending me these stuff like passport bros or all this. Like, no, we're not. I don't even know where you get this idea from.
The thing is, we're in a peculiar situation in that I think, let me say it like this. I think white women know better than to say crazy stuff like that about white men, because you guys have a mechanism and a way in which to check them real hard. There was a couple of years back, there was a young, I forget her name. She was a Fox. She's like this young blonde chick. She said something about men, and then in Fox News cracked down on her. I forget her name. Shout out to Dusty Nuts too. But black women have been so used to being able to get away with saying anything they want to say. You're old enough to remember Oprah Winfrey, Sally Jesse Raphael, some of the shows, the TV shows that came out. Tommy Lauren was her name. She said something disparaging about white men, and white men cracked down on her, and she went, and 3 days later she apologized. Black women have never been held. They've never been held and put in check. Why? Because we can't really do it, because they put us in jail. They lie on us. Everybody believes what they have to say. But the bottom line is, we're in a situation where black men are finally now beginning to speak up and say what needs to be said, speak the truth. But yeah, we know the military guys have been traveling overseas since World War I, staying there. World War II, the Korean War. There's plenty of guys who went to Vietnam and stayed in Vietnam. They stayed in Southeast Asia. So it's commonly known. But the problem is that black American women have a problem with black men doing it, because they want to keep an eye on us. They don't want us to go anywhere. They want to be able to keep us here until they finish banging every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And then when they're ready to settle down with their 2 babies or 3 babies, then they want us back. But let me tell you something else. They're angry now because we have the internet. We're able to speak back. But look, I want to know something really important. What belt do you have? You're in jiu-jitsu. What? Tell me about the belts. What's your belt rank for the young fella?
Su cinturón, ¿qué color?
Su cinturón, sí.
Color.
Blanco, azul. Huh?
He's got a green one.
He's got a green one. I see. I mean, good job. Good job. Well, look, man, you keep up the good. Tu estudia mucho. Sí, muy fuerte.
Watch out, you guys. We're going to see him in the future. Okay?
Estudia mucho en la escuela. No problemas con criminales. Tú necesitas hombre inteligente todo. Okay? I know my Espanol is a little rusty right now. I haven't been overseas, but shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right. Man, and you're trying to dictate to